Today we're going to talk about how to buy a house with little to no money down. This market is super crazy. We're going to talk about some things that can help you purchase a house without having to spend $20,000 to $30,000 out of pocket. Stay tuned. I'm William Branch, your Texas local lender, and today we're going to talk about how can I buy a house with little to no money down. Did you know that you don't have to put 20% down to purchase a house? A lot of people think that they have to save up all this money to be able to do it. You know, I tell people all the time, man, if you had to save up 20%, what would that look like? How long would that take you? It could take you 5, 10, maybe even 20 years to do. And over that time, that house that you could have purchased 10 years ago is now worth $100,000 or more worth than what you could have bought it for then. So just imagine all that equity. We've seen over the years that we've had a lot of people that use a down payment assistance program, or let's say that they're a veteran, able to purchase a home with no money down, and to look back 5 to 7 years later on just on our normal appreciation, that home's appreciating at 3 to 5 to 7%. In that span of time frame, they're ready to purchase their second home. And they've got so much equity to be able to put towards the new one. With these options, so the first one we'll talk about today is going to be a down payment assistance program. Typically, you are going to have to qualify on these programs. They are income-based. Make sure that your lender is aware of your total income and that they structure your file properly to make sure that once you put under contract that you don't have an issue, you're not over the actual income limit for the specific program. So there's several out there. Typically, you're looking at 3, 4, to 5% assistance. We can use it for VA, USDA and FHA and conventional. So all 4 of those programs we're able to use. Depending on the type of program, we may have to ask for some seller paid closing costs, or you're going to have just minimal out-of-pocket costs. We'll start with conventional using the 5% down, and we're in this market, we're not getting any closing costs depending on where you're looking. If you're looking at a high market area, likelihood is you're not getting any closing costs. So we're going to have to go out, we're going to have to spread our wings and get a little bit further out of the metroplex. And then we are starting to see, we do see that sellers are willing to give up some of the closing costs or help you cover your a portion of your closing costs in what's called a seller concession. That seller concession is basically, you can call it that we've rolled it into your mortgage, allowing you to come to the table with very little out of pocket. Down payment assistance programs are amazing. All you have to do is qualify, meet the income requirements, and take a quick online class and show your lender your certificate, and boom, you've got free money. Some of these programs are going to be forgivable, and some of them are grants. Like you could sell your house in 6 months or never have to repay it back. That forgivable loan program is going to be at 0% interest only. You'd have to just live in the home for 3 years. If you sell before that 3 years is up, that money would be owed back. But again, you didn't have to bring that money to the table to start with. Interest rates are going to vary depending on the level of assistance. So just keep that in mind, that whenever you are looking at one of those down payment assistance programs, don't be alarmed that the interest rate may be a little bit higher than what's out there in the current market. But if you want the lower rate, you're going to have to bring your down payment and your closing costs to the table. So just weigh your options, figure out what's the difference in payment and how long would it take me to have to pay it back. Let's talk about USDA. So USDA is one that's 0% down. Did you know that you can buy a home with 0% down? Pretty crazy, huh? So the only stipulation is you have to buy what's called a rural area. You heard me say rural, right? Typically, like when I think of rural, I think of cows and pastures and farms, and that's not the case. I have friends that they're buying just outside the city limits, and a lot of the cities are actual rural. So just think that when we say rural, we're not thinking that you need to go buy a farm or you're gonna have cows and it's gonna be pasture. A lot of these places is just not as developed. If you go onto the website, USDA.gov, and you type in property eligibility and you type in a specific address or specific area, it'll show you where you can purchase with a USDA loan. Just like those down payment assistance programs, they are income-based. Size of your family, your income level can be X, and as you grow your family, your family gets above 5 or more, that income level actually exceeds. It allows you to be able to qualify with these programs. They're excellent programs, and then also there are some closing costs attached to it, so you can either use a down payment assistance, let's just say a 3%, to help combat some of that closing cost to get you at $0, or we can ask a seller, as we talked about earlier, that seller concession to cover some of those closing costs. We've had many people that have purchased homes with $0. It's crazy to think that in 5 years after they've lived in that home, how much equity they have, and they've bought the home with nothing out of pocket. That's the overall goal with these things. Let's talk about VA. VA is for our veterans. We love our veterans. Veterans are my pride and joy whenever we're talking to a VA client. And so veterans, as you know, there are zero down payment. There are some closing costs that are typically involved. You have your lender closing costs, and then there's also what's called an escrow account. So every mortgage has what's called an escrow account. If you want to waive your escrow account, talking a little bit higher level here, is that you typically have to put 20% down to be able to waive your taxes and insurance and your payments. So VA, 0% down. If you have any disability of 10% more, VA has what's called a funding fee. If you've never bought a home, you're going to have a smaller funding fee. If you've bought a home before, that funding fee can change. So if you have 10% or more down, 10% or more disability, then you are exempt from that funding fee. Another thing that we find a lot, we find veterans that are 100% disabled. We're able to help them set up their home loan with zero taxes. That's one thing not all lenders will do. They'll make you go do that after the fact. We will set it up and help you qualify with $0 as your taxes. We just have to prove the documentation that you are 100% disabled. Utilizing all of these programs, these are great ways for you to purchase a home, 0%, zero to very few $1,000s out of pocket. And it's one way that we are in a crazy market right now, but eventually this will subside. Let's work on getting you pre-qualified. That's gonna be your first step with a lender, is let's set that up and we'll start the search. As I've mentioned earlier in other videos, that we may have to expand our search, that we may not be able to buy in that immediate area where there's a lot of buyers right now. Let's expand our area. We can help you purchase a house. There's not as much competition, and it's gonna help you obtain a home and be able to buy it sooner than later than having to wait. But these programs are amazing for you. So don't wait. Don't be that person that thinks you have to have 5, 10, 20% down to purchase a house so that you don't have private mortgage insurance. That PMI is so small, depending on your credit score, it won't even make a difference. And then you'll look back and thank me later that, hey, in 5 years, hey, William, thanks, we now have $50,000, $100,000. If we continue to see this market that we have right now, I mean, the numbers would be unheard of to know. I would love to just say, hey, call me one day and say, William, we bought a home with $0. We're now cashing out 75 grand. We're ready for our second home. You know, can't thank you enough for that. So these are great tools for us to consider with little to no money down. And just, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Reach out to a local lender. Trust a local advisor and local expert. And again, don't forget to trust your realtor, because they're the ones that are going to guide you in the right direction, that will get you with a trusted advisor that's going to help you through this process. So thank you guys for tuning in today. If you haven't clicked that like and subscribe button, please smash it below. Stay tuned to our next video. We got some great content coming out.